funny, walking out of the event this morning.
Yeah.
So this beautiful little Asian lady walks up to me, and she says, "You probably don't remember me, but I used to bring my food truck to your 4th of July. She used to run this food truck called Taste of Siam."
Yeah.
And she says, "Now I drive the RT train."
Oh, that's nice.
All right, it's called to order the, what is the date today? March 12th, 2018 meeting of the Regional Transit Board of Directors. Would the clerk please call the roll to establish quorum?
Director Budge?
Here.
Director Hansen is marked as being absent. Director Harris?
Here.
Director Hume is marked as being absent. Director Jennings?
Here.
Director Miller?
Here.
Director Morin?
Here.
Director Natoli? Director Chenier? Director Cerna?
Here.
Chair Kennedy?
Here.
With that, we have a quorum at 96 votes. This meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit District will be cablecast without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel. Tonight's meeting will air on Wednesday, March 14th at 8 p.m. and replayed on Friday, March 16th at 3 p.m. and webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. It is also closed captioned. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker card located at the rear of the room and provide it to me or Adam. Please speak into the microphone and state your name for the record. We would appreciate everyone turning off their cell phones. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I expect you all to practice that, so we'll get it together next time. First item, Madam
Public
Clerk.
addresses the board on matters not on the agenda.
All right, we have several cards here. We'll start with Robert Copeland.
Last Tuesday, I saw a potential wreck between an RT bus and a car on 12th and J Street on bus 30 route, and the RT bus was at fault. Can you train your drivers better so there won't be no more wrecks or a possible potential wrecks between a bus and a car? And the RT bus was at fault because I saw it. It was trying to run a red light. My second issue, why is there a bus 51 stop at 21st and Capitol and not a 62 stop there? 51 doesn't go that far down on the 21st. Third, some of those bus benches have bars across in the Sacramento County. I like those bus benches removed because I think that's disgraceful, the city RT board doing that. I don't see a justification of that because people can't even sit there because there's too narrow of a seat. That's disgraceful, to tell you the truth. And I wish Mr. Hansen was here so I can ask him for his rule, the 2 minutes every meeting. I want to have him speak for just 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Nick Bryant.
Yes. So my issue is that when I take light rail and I'm seeing problems on light rail all the time, and it's just I think we need to get it together, and I would like this fixed, and I would like that way all the new riders can ride light rail without having problems. And even asking people for money at light rail stations or even smoking at bus stops is not okay. Even when I get on the bus, I get on the bus in the mornings and I come from my Connect card will work on Roosevelt Transit, but on light rail on regional, on the buses for regional, on the buses, my Connect card don't work. Sometimes it don't work on regional transit, and that's a problem. And another thing is we love taking light rail to the Kings games, and we enjoy it. We love light rail, and even also I've taking pictures on Mallorca and Elkhorn. There's been bus shelters that have been written with graffiti on it, and there was one bus stop on that same street, but for the 80 route, there's no bus stop number there, and there's no bus stop number, and there's no bus route number. There's not. People are breaking bus stops, and I think the bus stops at Mallorca and Elkhorn that are being written with graffiti, I think they should fix them. It breaks my heart where we have homeless problems all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Mike Birnbaum. Welcome back, Mike.
Yes, thank you, Chair Kennedy and members of the board. As the board will recall, but the public may or may not remember, at its December meeting, the board took a big action to reduce the student bus pass, and in part of its action, directed myself, among others, to do some research as to what are other agencies around the SACOG and PCTPA region doing regarding summer youth bus passes, as your action included a pilot program that would reduce the pass from New Year's Day of the calendar year to the last day of the current fiscal year, June 30th. On March 31st, we will reach the midway point of that pilot program. So yes, time does fly very fast. We provided some information to the board earlier this calendar year as to what your peers at the Yolo County Transportation District are doing regarding summer youth bus pass and what they do during the academic year. That report is on record and on file and is available for any public inquiry should any public want to look at the details when that report was presented. Tonight's report is what Placer County agencies do regarding a summer youth bus pass. So I'm pleased to let you know that at the February meeting of the Roseville Transportation Commission, staff explained that throughout Placer County, Roseville Transit, Placer County Transit, and Auburn Transit, in partnership with Placer County Transportation Planning Agency and the Placer Air Pollution Control District, the agencies collaborate to offer youth from elementary through high school a $10 summer youth bus pass. It is eligible for youth, again, from elementary through high school, and they will be able to purchase it starting this year on Tuesday, May 1st, and it is valid from June 1st through August 31st. Only $10. Again, not $10 per month, but $10 for all 3 months it will cover. On the back of the pass, students can show the pass and get discounts at places like Sonic, Cold Stone, Sky Zone, Ground Zero Board Shop, McDonald's, Roller King, and more. So for more information, contact the Alternative Transportation Office at 774-5293 during the week, and that is area code 916. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Jeffrey Tartagia.
Chairman Kennedy, board. What I'm first going to start off, I believe Steve right now is attending a service in memory of an individual, that quite young developer, did a lot for this city of Sacramento. But I'm going to talk about for regional transit is this last board meeting, we had the consultant explain about route optimization. Consistency, they spoke of frequency. Consistency, communication, accessibility, all of these are issues that need to be addressed. Next month, you have 2 board meetings. You are going to discuss one, I believe, related to the public speaking. I'm going to be speaking to SACOG's board because they have had an unprecedented request for public information. So they are having to revise. I think democracy requires, should we say, it is costly. So it needs to be supported, public policy and public information. It's a good thing for the people to understand why electrification and zero emissions is something that is coming to the region. The other thing is, since Pat's not here, the MAC meeting was canceled this, should we say, the first Thursday of this month, 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't see whether it was on the website or outside that it was canceled for the public, so they knew about it. It's a procedure. Your website, terribly hard to get through to find even your documents for tonight's conversation. Again, Pat's not here, so there's not a mention of next Monday. Paratransit's board meeting has been changed from Thursdays to the third, shall we say, Monday night now. That's something that's important that should be out there for the public. March 26th is when YOLO is going to be having their meeting. Yeah, I'm going to plan to be there because I'm wanting to see how they are addressing the 100 questions that RT asked YOLO. Very interesting. Now back to RT. Route 51 on the weekends has an issue of leaving people or bypassing disability people. It is probably because it's loaded, but how many people are for 30 and for other routes on the weekend in service are getting bypassed? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sarah Kerber. I'm with the Sacramento Transit Riders Union. Tonight, I want to address the overcrowding issue on bus route 51. Over the past year, we've been holding regular meetings at the Organized Sacramento office on Saturdays from 1 to 3 p.m. And our members have been experiencing problems with the 51 bus. Our members who are chair users have repeatedly been passed by 51 buses that are too full, sometimes by more than one bus. And this is creating a serious accessibility problem for our members. Route 51 is the busiest line in the system, with an average Saturday boarding of over 2,000 riders. On weekends, service is only every 30 minutes. On weekdays, it's every 15 minutes. This means that our members who get to the bus stop on time and are there waiting for their bus, but can't safely board the bus because they're only able to carry 2 chairs at a time, have to wait for an additional 30 minutes. If the next bus comes and they are unable to board that bus as well, they have to decide between waiting an additional 30 minutes for a total of an hour or driving their chairs along uneven sidewalk for miles to reach our office. Our members have tried to communicate these issues through the normal channels by reporting to the customer advocacy team. But at our meeting on Saturday, they decided that this had reached a point where we needed to discuss this at a higher level. We have several members here tonight who are going to speak about their experiences being passed by the overcrowded buses. And we know that this issue can be addressed in the route optimization project that is ongoing, but that could be several years away, and this is an immediate need. We ask the board to direct staff to examine Route 51 to determine if there is a demand and an ability to provide higher service on this bus route to ensure that all chair users are able to board the bus on weekends. Thank you.
Thank you. Helen O'Connell.
Hello, board members. My name is Helen O'Connell. I, too, am a 51 avid rider. And in the last 5 weeks, I've been passed up 3 times on 3 different Saturdays for 2 buses in a row. So I had to wait for an hour and a half to get my bus or drive from 35th to 17th where my meeting is at 1 o'clock. It usually happens between 11 and 12:30 before I can get on the bus. I don't know if this is their peak time or what, but it's really frustrating for those of us that are wheelchair dependent. And I think if they put an extra bus in that time slot between 11 and 12:30, they might be able to alleviate the 2 buses in a row that we have to wait for. It seems to be centralized on that time block. If I go earlier, I can usually catch it with just 1 bus passing me by. And if I go later, I can get by with 1 bus passing me by. But in between 11 and 12:30, 2 buses pass me by, and I have to wait for the 3rd. So and the route optimization project should have that information so that they can make changes that might be beneficial to that line. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Helen. Henry, can we, obviously there's an issue with bus 51. Could maybe your staff speak with SAC True and others and report back to the board on what the situation is?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, staff has discussed this issue internally, and we are thinking about maybe after we identified the exact time slot or the actual issue. We probably put some paratransit vans in those particular time frame because it looks like the buses have limited capacity to accommodate the disabled, wheelchair, whatever those type of stuff. So to say what is the best way to handle that, before the route optimization.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Russell Rawlings.
Good evening, members of the board and chair. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a me too with the 51. Those of us that live right by the 51 know this to be a problem. I would say that there are really kind of 3 scenarios. Midday, both weekend are definitely a problem, especially on Sundays. And the beginning of the month is another time that there is a real problem. I have experienced a wait time of 45 minutes to an hour, even during the week when the buses are running frequently. Been passed by 451s at one time. So this is a real problem. I think your 51 is really kind of saturated in a lot of cases. There needs to be something that's really concerted to look at this, especially as we're moving into a period where we're optimizing system. So the other additional thing that I will add is that there is a spot at 34th and Broadway inbound. The stop there is becoming increasingly difficult to navigate, and I understand that a lot of this falls to the city, but many of you sit on those places as well. It's really just a matter of the combination of the stop itself it's in a triangle, kind of in the middle of an island. And that area is kind of in disrepair, and the street itself is starting to kind of buckle right there. So there's just a lot of really gnarly stuff to encounter. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Russell. Stacy Winton.
Stacy Wentling with Sac True. I just wanted to clarify from the last meeting on pilot studies and tracking. So I realize there have been presentations covering pilot study results. However, what I'm asking for is a public-friendly platform for the public to track progress from start to finish. This just will create an opportunity for public engagement and a deeper understanding of the benefits as well as the concerns associated with the pilot study. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
And I second everything that Sarah Kerber says.
Thank you. Brenda Anderson.
Good evening. I'm looking around this room in comparison to what it looked like the last meeting, and I'm very concerned that some people may have got discouraged because of some issues that were removed. I'm just going to go ahead and read something about the Brown Act and just give you guys a little bit of reminder who you are and what you do and what we expect of you, because it's important. The legislature finds and declares that the public commission, boards, and councils and the other public agencies in this state exist to and in the conduct of the people's business. It is the intent of the law that their actions be taken openly and deliberately be conducted openly, which was not done. The people of the state do not yield their sovereign to the agencies which serve them. The people in delegating authority do not give their public servant the right to decide what is good for the people to know and what is not good for them to know. So, okay. The people insist on remaining informed so that they may retain control over the instrument they have created. You're all sitting there in a row with grim faces. I never hear an apology when someone come up here and say how hard they have it or what happened to them. I see one or two people write down something, and it just gets me frustrated and sometimes outraged that I believe you're in charge. Try a little harder. Try a little harder. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Ailey Scott.
Chairman Kennedy and the board, thank you for allowing me to speak before you this evening. I am a paratransit vehicle operator, and I am here with the approval of the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 256 to ask this question: why hasn't Regional Transit brought paratransit in-house? Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the cards I have for public address matters not on the agenda. This next item is consent. We have cards in for items 4 and 5.
Yeah,
Does any
3
member
also.
of the, what?
You have one for 3 also?
We do later, didn't we? Yes, we do, for 3 as well. Thank you.
I'll move 1 and 2.
All right.
Actually, there is no 2, so you can move 1 if you would like.
I'd like to speak on 2.
Please go right ahead.
Okay, we have a motion for item 1. Is there a second? Second. Since we have a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Motion carries at 96 votes. Item number 3, and I'll read the abbreviated title.
Thank you.
Conditionally awarding contract for construction management services for the downtown Riverfront Streetcar project and conditionally approving work order number 1.
And we have a card from Brenda Anderson.
Here we go. I did speak with staff regarding this because of the wording was a little bit ambiguous. And one of my questions was the terms of conditionally delegating authority to the CEO, general manager. And it was explained to me that it was because the Joint Power Authority, who would approve the contract, is dragging their feet, and they need to have it done by April. And April is here. So the justification was that they need to have a workforce contract. And since April is here and Joint Powers Authority is here, is it necessary to delegate this authority to the CEO and general manager? I'm very concerned about giving someone too much power when they've demonstrated abuse of it. And I would like to have a, second consider. I see you're reading up your face right now, making a face. I don't care whether you make a face or not. It's what it is. You need to understand that these decisions that you're approving and these decisions that are being made, they're affecting the people out here that come in here and tell you what happened. That's what you're not getting. You are not getting that. It's okay to say I approve, and that's okay. And it's okay for him to put his two hands up and say, oh, it's okay. It's not. It's not okay. So you could go ahead and vote and approve, give him this authority. And when the people come back in and fill this room, you're going to look at him and say, well, we're going to take it back. Make your mind up of that you're going to consider something. Do your homework, read, look, ask questions. I do it all the time and sit here and face you with it. I'm not pleased with what your performance has been. It has not been good. If I can come up with what these problems, how come you haven't? How come you haven't asked these questions? What are the terms and conditions, and why and when and how? Real easy questions. How come you haven't done it? What is okay about just saying, yes, I approve? Yes, I approve does not mean it's okay. Think about what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brenda. Is there any questions from the board? Yes, Mr. Natoli.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair Kennedy. I had talked with General Manager Lee earlier today just about this particular item. So, and again, I understand what Ms. Anderson just put forward. So I don't know that it was expressed to me that the JPA was dragging their feet, but I guess I want to just understand, it's explained here in the report, but to the question about assigning the authority, again, assuming the JPA will act, how is it that we get in the bind to make sure that they stay on track by, again, whether you bring this to us when the JPA is ready to act, but why in advance of it, and why is the onus on us in order to have to make sure that people stay on track? So,
Yeah, so I have staff, Greg is going to...
Greg Gamble's here to answer your question.
Hi, Chair Kennedy and members of the board. My name is Greg Gamble. I'm the Director of Construction Management for the district. What we brought this for you for consideration this evening is to try to expedite the process to get additional support services for the streetcar on board. We can certainly wait for all subsequent approvals and other administrative actions to take place, but what that'll do will affect our ability to actually get mobilized and start work.
Greg, let me just ask you, because on page 3, in fact, I again talked with General Manager Lee about this earlier, it says in the next to last paragraph, it said that the uniqueness of this project requires contract approval, obviously from the JPA. Therefore, in order to keep the project on schedule, staff has requested that the board delegate authority to General Manager CEO to award the contract upon successful conclusion of negotiations. Why is it that RT is put in the position of keeping the schedule and project schedule on track? That was my question, is that, how come it's reflected us? Again, I don't think it's anything we've done, nor you necessarily, but why is it that RT board has to act with some level of urgency in order to keep the project on schedule? It's not our project, so to speak, anyway. And so I guess I'm curious about that particular point. I know you can come back. You can come to us at a later date. Again, I don't question the authority, certainly of General Manager, or necessarily this item even. It's just that it's kind of put the RT board in a position of, come on, hurry up, board, you act. in order to keep the project on schedule. It's not our doings, as I understand it.
We're just trying to expedite the process, so I think from staff's perspective, any time that we can gain by getting out ahead of the subsequent approval process, we look at that as a win, that we can save time, and any time when we can save time, that helps the schedule.
Okay, so let me just ask one other question then, because this isn't clear here. So if we didn't take this action this evening, assuming that a more normal order of things, that the JPA were to act whenever they come together, I don't know if that's in the next few weeks or whatever, then you have to wait to get it on our schedule in order to then delegate the authority to award once the JPA has acted.
Correct.
Actually, let me chip in here. Actually, this particular item you brought to us last month, and I refused to put that on the board agenda because this is not something we'd like to be a great partner to this entire the whole team. This is 4 parties project. 2 cities and CCOG and RT, and actually the 5th party is the Euro County Transit. Given this dedication to RT, to me particularly, I actually took a serious consideration to say if we should have that or not. Later on, staff, come back and share with us about the JPA of streetcar opinion. Because JPA board needs to approve this subsequently. They need to do that quickly. So they want us to approve first. If we wait, then they have to wait. And by the way, the funding come from the 2 cities, not come from, RT's fund. Because of we need to help to move this project, ahead, and the JPA board needs to approve after RT board approved this. That's why we, we put this here. We can actually, when the JPA board approved, then we bring back to the RT board for RT board approve the final, sign off. I mean, the process can be changed a little bit, but again, this is really just help our partners to move this project forward as quickly as possible.
If I could just, Mr. Chair, just one follow on, Henry. So if there's an urgency to it, I don't know how often the JPA board meets, and maybe getting 4 parties or 3 parties, 5 parties together is difficult to do. But if there's an urgency to it, we have a set schedule. It was seen to me that there might be some accommodation for those that want to move the project forward. Obviously, RT is a party to that, to have it ready for agenda. Again, recognizing that we won't next come into session until April. And again, I don't want to hold this up. That's not my intent in asking the question. It's just that if there's an urgency and they need to act first, but we're asking them to delegate authority to you, which, I heard you were kind of lukewarm to that idea. Obviously, you'll accept the responsibility if we give it to you. So when is the JPA, my question, when is the JPA board meeting next?
I think the 23rd or kind of the 3rd week in March, something like that.
Okay, so they meet next Thursday? Friday?
No, next Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
They've set a, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, but they've set a monthly schedule now. It wasn't meeting monthly before, and now it is.
That's my understanding.
Right. So the secretary sent a whole list of meeting dates, which are approximately the 3rd Tuesday of the month, I'm thinking.
Okay. And so if this was brought to Henry for last month's meeting, was the JPA prepared to act on it last month, or they weren't ready to act on it yet?
I don't believe they were prepared to act on it.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, item number 4. We're going to take all 3 of those at the same time.
Okay. Item number 4, resolution approving the Equal Employment Opportunity Affirmative Action Plan for the Sacramento Regional Transit District for the period January 1, 2018 through December 31, 2021.
Okay, Sarah Kerber.
Hi, my name is Sarah Kerber. I'm with the Sacramento Transit Riders Union. March is Women's History Month, which honors the many social, economic, and cultural and political achievements of women. SAC-TRU would like to recognize the work and role of women at Sacramento Regional Transit. Hiring, training, and retaining women in historically male-oriented industries is a challenge in our economy. We think this board item highlights an important role that SAC-RT can play to encourage and increase the role of women within the transportation industry. As the 2017 FTA report found and our letter to the board highlighted, RT has had a history of failing to bring women, members of minority communities, protected veterans, and individuals with disabilities into all levels and segments of Sacramento Regional Transit's workforce in proportion to their representation in the Sacramento region qualified relevant labor market. Specifically, the period reported in the board item, despite making up 51% of the labor market and 50% of applicants, women made up only 30% of the new hires and only 16% of the promotions within RT. This is of particular concern given that SAC-RT agreed to a consent decree in 2003 to resolve claims and complaints of gender discrimination filed by a group of salaried women in the late 1990s. One of the specific issues on the consent decree was that women were discouraged from seeking training opportunities. SAC-TRU hopes that RT can be a leader in the future and improve hiring rates for women within RT and encourage women to participate in training programs that foster promotional potential and could increase their promotional chances. We look to RT to be a leader in this respect and hope to see continued improvement in their hiring, promotion, and retention of female employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeffrey Tartagia.
I'm actually going to try this again. All right, let's see if this works. Chairman and board members, like a number of other issues through here, I will say to you is please, you delegate, but you have the responsibility. So the thing that needs to be in the general manager's report is things that you do, come back to you. So as these things are brought up to you at board meetings, somewhere they need to be answered. And I've been asking questions for years, and you note most of them still remain unanswered. So we bring this to your attention again as a matter this month. Question mark, when will by next year, when this rolls around again, will there be a better understanding, and will this board have figured out what might be something that would be helpful?
Thank you. Any questions, any comments from the board on item number 4? Okay.
Number 5, resolution approving the Fifth Amendment to the Personal Services Contract with Robin Haswell for project management and coordination assistance.
Sarah Kerber. Glad you could get your exercise tonight.
Hi, Sarah Kerber with the Sacramento Regional, nope, that's wrong, with SAC-TRU. As we've repeatedly stated at board meetings, our members are concerned about the practice of extending temporary employment contracts over multiple years. We believe riders will be best served by well-trained, fairly compensated employees subject to the oversight and protection of an employee. Temporary employee contracts are supposed to be for those who do short-term work, not for 5 years of work overseeing essential programs that include transit system safety, security, and disaster response projects. SAC-TRU thinks that the economic realities of this work in the specific contract and the relationship between the contractor and SAC-RT transform this role from a contractor to that of an employee, exposing SAC-RT to liability. We think the ongoing length of this contract, the essential nature of the work, the regular annual increases, the control over work exerted by RT, and the growing relationship between Ms. Haswell and SAC-RT transform the temporary employment contract into that of an employee. In light of RT's need to hire and retain more female employees, we are discouraged to see this woman excluded from the protection and benefits of full-time employment and denied the opportunity for training and promotion within RT. SAC-TRU understands that occasionally SAC-RT may have a need for technical support and require help to supplement staff resources. However, we believe that it's disingenuous and potentially exposes RT to liability to hire contractors as limited term or temporary employees for multiple years and to deny them access to benefits available to other employees. How many other similar contracts does RT have? Cost savings does not justify denying workers the rights and protections required under the law. Under these circumstances, SAC-TRU opposes extending the temporary employment contract for Ms. Haswell and urges the board to do so as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Brenda Anderson?
Let's go. I spoke with staff also about this issue, but before I even go there, I'm going to say that this time last year, I asked the gentleman that's sitting to the left of Mr. Lee, I asked him, I said, if I come back here next year, will there be another amendment? And he told me no, because there was a ceiling. So that ceiling is about to be amended today, I assume. But when I talked to staff, the skills that this person is exercising are not specialized skills. They're not specialized skills as far as engineering or things like that. It's mostly coordinating. This person's a coordinator type thing. So I'm concerned that we have a 10-year coordinator that's temporary employee on the books here. And I want to know why, and I want to know how. I've been told that if this was to a permanent position and the budget for the position went away or the accountability, that person would lose their job. Well, so would anybody else if something was closed or anything else. So we can protect this person and continue with this temporary 9,000-year employment facade, or we can deal with this and sit down and say, what can we do? What can we do? Can we put this person administrative over the Prop B1, 1B, whatever, and make a position? You're laughing, Mr. Lee, it's not funny, okay? This is real. This is a person's money, and this is our money. This is our situation. This is very serious. I don't want to come back in next year with another amendment resolution with another $9,000 raise and another 99 years going on. How long is this going to go on? How long are you guys going to approve it? How long are you going to approve another one? This is 5 years now for temporary. How long are you going to do it? And what their justification is for it? And why haven't you looking at other options? What other options are available? Have you looked into that? Have you looked into the skills, the levels, the position? What can you do? You just did a whole juggling of reclassifying positions about 2 months ago to make sure everybody got their pay above and aboard like it should be. You got a grant writer in there that you didn't have before, that you before. So now, my time is up. You guys go get it.
Thank you.
Buzz,
Thank you, Brent. Thank you.
Buzz,
Thank you.
go
Brent.
get it.
Thank you. Any questions from the board on item number 5? Is there a motion for items 3, 4, and 5? We have a motion.
I'll second.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Motion carries at 96 votes. And may I find out who was the second on the motion?
It was-
Thank you, Director Warren.
We're in.
Next, item number 6, the general manager's report.
Okay. Good evening, Chair Kennedy, members of the board, and the public. First, I would like to thank some great comments we received today. We're going to get back to you guys quickly. Now, I want to first start with a brief update. Last week, I traveled back to Washington, D.C. along with Chair Kennedy, Director Serra, and Mayor Stenberg as part of the second annual Capital Region Executive Leadership Mission. A group of approximately 50 business, labor, and elected officials converged on the nation's capital for a 4-day lobbying effort, try to get more funds for this region. The theme of this year's mission was infrastructure meets connectivity. You can say this picture, Chair, Director Serra, and Mayor on this side, Senator Feinstein's conference room. I was in this side, and I was not in the picture. We participated in meetings with our region's elected officials, including Senator Feinstein and Harris, and Congresswoman Matsui, and Congressman Burr, where we discussed the proposed infrastructure plan and the importance of continued federal investment in transit.
You're in this picture, Henry.
Yeah, glad to see it.
Okay, this is Speaker Nancy Pelosi's conference room. We borrowed her conference room here. About like 20 people attended the meeting with Congresswoman Matsui. Also, I had the privilege of attending the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee hearing titled Examining the Administration's Infrastructure Proposal. The hearing included over 3 hours of testimony from the Transportation Secretary, Elaine Chao, and there were about 40 congressmen and women were there, and kind of like a grilled secretary. Secretary did a great job answering questions. And I was able to sit right behind secretary. There were about like 100 people in that hearing. Next, I would like to share a couple of good news. First, Sacramento and the B Street Theater have partnered together on behalf of school children in the Sacramento region in an effort to ensure that all students have the experience of enjoying children's theater. Sacramento is providing free class passes to them who want to travel by transit to the new Sophia Children's Center for the Arts. The new state-of-the-art theater is located at 27th and Capitol Streets in Middletown and accessible by both Sacramento's light rail and the bus routes. Also, 2 weeks ago, Director Birch, the attorney, and I had the pleasure of attending the grand opening of the Mills Station Arts and Culture Center in Rancho Cordova on February 28th. The historical 1911 building is owned by Sacramento and is located just a few feet from the Mills light rail station. Sacramento partnered with Rancho Cordova Mayor Barge, supervisor attorney, city and county officials, and the community to transform this 107-year-old building into a new hub for local art. The center will be home to a variety of art activities and galleries throughout the year, and it's sure to become a great new community gathering spot. I encourage everyone to ride the Gold Line to the center and check out the current exhibit of contemporary art. This is truly amazing art. Sticking with the theme of arts, this morning we just had a great press conference as we showcased 4 light rail vehicles that have been wrapped with art designed by 4 local artists. Sacramento partnered with Sacramento Metropolitan Arts Commission to turn this vision into the reality. I would like to thank Chair Kennedy, Vice Chair Hansen, Director Barge, and Sarah attending and speaking at the event. We hope the community will take notice of this beautiful light rail trains and that we can expand this project in the future. Keep an eye out for the 4 trains as they carry passengers along our light rail lines. You want to just show that video a little bit? Okay. So you can also trust that we will keep these new art trains clean. Over the last 10 years, Sacramento has not had a reliable light rail train wash rack. We installed that more than 30 years ago, the existing rack, and it was often broken, and when it was working, it did a very poor job of cleaning the exterior of the trains. Over the last 5 years, the older machine, the washing machine's performance worsened to the point it did need to more than just spray water on the outside of the trains. The brushes did not function properly, and even its ability to dispense soap was unreliable. A year and a half ago, and the board made a tough decision from our very tight budget to fund a replacement of a $1 million washing rack as a priority. So I'm happy to share with you today, last week, our new wash machine rack was installed, and our trains are being washed thoroughly. You can see the brushes, that type of strong brushes will be able to wash the train much better. And the train right now are much cleaner, not just inside the trains, which we addressed this issue a year and a half ago. Now the outside of trains will be much better.
Ray, that's good.
Last piece of news. Since several public advocacy group people asked us about what's going on with the Euro County Transit RFP. Last week, actually on February 22nd, Sacramento responded to Euro County Transit District RFP to operate Eurobus service via a 7-year contract. And last week, we passed the first round of proposal. Well, one of the last 3 bidders. And then we were invited to interview with the Euro County Transit RFP panel members. Now we are refining our best and the final proposal to Euro County Transit this Friday. It is expected that Euro County Transit District will name the contractor before the end of the month, and we will be sure to keep everybody appraised. This is a $10 million project, and we feel we are confident and we can, do a better job than other competitors. But we will, we will see what will happen. So that concludes my report, and I will be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? We do have some cards. Mr. Lee, I expect you to do a little better next month. There was only 3 pictures of the chair in your report. So first we have Mike Barnbaum.
Thank you, Chair Kennedy and members of the board. As you and the public who reads the agendas online know, that in the general manager's report, there is a meeting calendar. I wanted to add onto your meeting calendar some meetings of transportation of significant interest into the schedule. It was noted, though, on paratransit.org that the March 19th meeting of that board has been canceled. On Friday, March 23rd, the San Joaquin JPA board will be meeting from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in the Fresno County Board of Supervisors chambers. Major items on the agenda include the draft 2018-19, 2019-2020 business plan, and the status update of the morning express service, which in fact begins Monday, May 7th, and they will go over it in full detail. Monday, March 26th at 7 p.m. at 350 Industrial Way in Woodland is the meeting of the Yolo County Transportation District Board of Directors. Your board again meets on Monday, April 9th. On Wednesday, April 11th, the Solano Transportation Authority is going to take up an item at 6 p.m. in the City Council chambers of the City of Suisun City. Yes, that's a familiar location. The Capital Corridor Board meets there. But at 6 p.m. on April 11th, STA will discuss reimagining medium to long distance routes that they provide in partnership with FAST, or Fairfield and Suisun Transit. One of those is the FAST Route 30, which serves downtown Sacramento. They want to reimagine that route and 2 others to combine it into one route to travel from downtown Sacramento, the Fairfield Transit Center, and a potential endpoint of the Pleasant Hill Contra Costa BART station. This will provide another option of transportation for people to travel between Sacramento and the Bay Area, in addition to Megabus, Greyhound, and Capital Corridor. Also on Wednesday, the 11th, we've been told this is a tentative date right now. The City of Elk Grove might take up the Elk Grove multimodal station site locations. But stay tuned. The clerk of the board is going to keep me informed to that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Jeffrey Tartagia.
Jeff Tartagia, board. General Manager's report. See, these are where the items, I would say, because I believe the RAP was originally a pilot project. So this is where your pilot projects that are right now going on, I would think would be great to be in the General Manager's report. Report back of actions the General Manager does take. I do not know whether, the last issue say that I think Linda was at for a streetcar, but, actions, whether it was the SACOG's $4 million or something, or $1 million something, but I know streetcar is now projected to be something like $14 million that has been spent. But General Manager's report, back to activities that go on, please, get them in here, when you delegate authority, know when they pass. I didn't read the minutes this time, so I have no idea, but I wonder in the next set of minutes, will we have some indication that, hey, at this date, we knew that should we say, cleaning of the light rail took place after a 1.5 year project that started, this board did. Now it's completed, it's done, it's finished with. Where the public learns about it will only be on the telecast right now, I believe. So hopefully in the minutes, or general manager's report, activities that have been completed and done are recorded.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the board? Madam Clerk, yes. Mr.
I was going to ask at the next meeting if, Henry, we could get an update on Smart Ride and our numbers and how it's performing.
That is the plan. That is the plan.
Good,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Any others?
Patrick. Yeah, just a comment to all the staff that worked hard for this morning. It really was a delightful event, and the trains are terrific. And seriously, the best news was that they'll now get washed. I love that part.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay.
Any others? Madam Clerk, we have no more items. Then we are adjourned.